Greetings YouTube, Fuzzfinger here, and today I'm going to be talking about Warhammer Chaosbane, the latest action role-playing game in the style of Diablo. The game is being developed by Big Ben and Eco Software and is currently in beta, which means that these criticisms I'm about to provide should not be seen as this is a review of the game, it is what it is, and should be more in the vein of this is where the game currently is, but hopefully these issues are going to be sorted and fixed before we head into retail. Also, just so you know where I'm coming from, I've currently played the game for about 5 to 5.5 hours in total. The beta itself covers the first full act of the game and takes about 2 hours to complete, so I've completed it all the way through from start to finish on the PS4 and also the PC version as well. There are currently 2 character classes available, the Soldier and the High Elf Mage, and on my PS4 playthrough I played as the High Elf Mage, and on the PC version I played as the Soldier, so hopefully I've got a good idea as to everything that can be expected from the game so far. But before we talk about the negatives, some of the things that I would like to see changed and fixed in the game as we go forward, let's just talk about some of the positives, and there are positives with Warhammer Chaosbane. First of all then, the game does a fantastic job in representing the action role-playing genre. Combat feels very fluid, it feels very satisfactory, the boss fight in particular at the end is just a wonderful thing to behold, and so in that sense it does what it's setting out to do. Of course the action role-playing genre has become a little bit more fragmented over the last few years. We have those games that are trying to represent a more current evolution of the genre, such as Diablo 3, although that is a few years old now, in comparison to games that are still trying to represent that more traditional aspect of ARPGs such as Path of Exile. And so Chaosbane is representing perhaps the more modern approach to ARPG. So if you're more familiar with, say, Diablo 3 than you are with Diablo 2, then you're going to feel right at home as you begin to play this particular game. Just a couple of brief examples so you know the kind of thing I'm talking about. Health potions aren't a consumable item, they're just another kind of skill that exists on a cooldown. They don't take up inventory space and you're never going to run out of stock. Secondly, there's no real consequence to the main active and passive skills that you choose, since you can swap between these at any time without any cost. It's difficult at this stage to know exactly what the replayability and endgame value is going to be of Chaosbane, since we only currently have such a limited amount of content to partake in. Though as far as I can tell, it does appear there are going to be several game modes that are not currently available which should help in this, such as a boss rush mode, allowing you to go back and refight some of the bosses that you've already defeated, and also, quite interestingly, a relic hunting mode which will allow you to create some kind of custom quest and actually hunt down specific legendary items that you need to build up your character. Definitely some stuff I'm looking forward to seeing in action, but not available, as I say, right now. I'm very impressed with the music. The soundtrack does a great job as you go through the game at laying down a decent atmosphere, and it goes well with the fantasy, dark gothic setting of the Warhammer Chaosbane universe. That said, not everything is rosy and peachy, unfortunately. There are definitely several areas and features in the game which are going to need to be fixed and altered, perhaps in some cases quite drastically, or Chaosbane is going to be torn asunder by the reviewers when it actually is released. So I did mention how I've played through the game on both PC and PS4, and immediately the most glaring issues are going to be with the PC version of the game. So unless some of these things I'm about to talk about are changed or fixed, I would strongly recommend, if you're going to play Chaosbane, that you play the console version. Something which I'm hoping is going to be changed is the fact that although there is a separate configuration tool that exists outside of the game, but as part of the Steam launch, that you can go ahead and make certain graphical changes to, such as the resolution that you want the game to run at, whether you want windowed or full screen. There's actually very, very limited options that you can adjust in the game itself. So if you want to adjust your monitor refresh rate, if you want to adjust, as I say, the resolution, or anything along those lines, any advanced graphical improvements, none of that currently exists. So this is very clearly a console port on the PC. And this console port feeling definitely comes across as well with the overall interface. First of all, there's no adjustable key bindings, at least not from what I can see. And this is really important now. Many people that play action role-playing games prefer to do so with the mouse and keyboard. We cannot be using radial menus for a mouse and keyboard ARPG setup. Please guys, this has to be changed for the retail version of the game, or I promise you there is going to be a ton of criticism from PC players. We need a PC based interface for those that want to play the game in this way. I fully understand that the radial menu system is definitely perhaps the best solution as far as consoles are concerned for action role-playing games, but for those that prefer to use the mouse and keyboard setup, I would suggest that a more appropriate interface is provided. That said, in fairness to the game, it's not a strict copy of the console interface. PC players do gain access to the entire inventory all at once. You don't have to scroll through various menus. But overall, that console interface is coming through here, and I think that does need to be addressed. And now moving on to all versions of the game, there are definitely a few quality of life changes I would like to see implemented. Little things like being able to zoom in and out of the screen so that I can see my character in more detail. A hotkey that highlights items on the ground. And speaking of loot, there's a couple of times, such as the quest where you have to defeat the Ungor champion, where you don't even get opportunity to collect the loot after defeating the enemies. You're literally ported out automatically back to the main town. So things like that will need to be changed. There's also very limited choice at character creation. You will have 4 classes to choose from, and each class comes with a predetermined design. You cannot adjust how your character looks, and you cannot adjust the gender, so the only choice you can make is the class. And since each character exists in its specific lore, and it has specific voice acting throughout the adventure, you're not going to be able to select its name either. That is also predetermined. Now, I'll be honest, for me, that doesn't really affect me in any way, shape or form. I'm one of those rare players that really doesn't care about character creation. I'll play as anything. It's more to do with the class and that I'm interested in. But I know I'm in the minority there, and a lot of people do like to adjust how their character looks, how it's designed, its gender, its name, things of that nature. That's not going to be an option for you here, unless that changes going into retail, but I'm not convinced it's going to. But overall, I'm definitely still excited about Warhammer Chaosbane. I'm looking forward to see how the game's going to change and develop over the coming months up to release. There is a new beta coming out for the game next month in April, so I will make sure to keep you guys posted on any new implementations that have occurred at that point. But thanks for stopping by and joining me during this video. I hope you guys have found it helpful. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Are you going to be playing Chaosbane? Have you been playing it? If so, what do you think so far? Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.